More than 2 months after he was shot and sent to recover at a Utah hospital, Montana Highway Patrol Trooper Wade Palmer is coming home today. Trooper Palmer's doctors say he is ready to transition to the next phase of care. Palmer will be flown to Missoula this afternoon, and a motorcade will take him home where he will begin outpatient therapy. Palmer has been hospitalized since March 15th when he was shot in the neck, face, and head after locating the suspect involved in a road rage shooting that injured 2 and killed 1 in Missoula. A procession will begin around 2 p.m. and will take Trooper Palmer from the Missoula North Star hangar and through town on his way back home. They will then take the trooper to Stevensville. MTM will have live coverage starting on the statewide noon news. Turning to Crime Watch, a suspect is behind bars this morning following the robbery of a central Billings casino. The robbery was reported Tuesday evening at Sam's Casino on 16th Street West. Sergeant Clyde Reed says the suspect entered the casino and threatened an employee with a blunt object. The suspect then took an undisclosed amount of money and left. Billings police located the suspect in a nearby home. The suspect was taken into custody without further incident. The suspect's name and how they were able to track him down have not been released. Another big change in top leadership at Billings Clinic as the contract for CEO Dr. Randall Gibb is terminated effective immediately. The hospital is not releasing any details surrounding the firing of Dr. Gibb, and due to confidentiality, details will not be provided. The board of directors has named Drs. John Schallenkamp and Robert Merchant to serve as co-CEOs as the hospital makes another major transition.
So clearly there's always anxiety anytime there's changeover, but again, the majority of our programs are run by our VPs, and they are doing an incredible job. Those are the people that our staff look up to. They look up to their managers. I mean, the real leadership is provided at the local level, the management level. That's what leads our patient care teams. And those aren't changing. They're going to get the exact same support that they have been getting from their directors and the VPs. We've got really strong teams throughout.
The hospital will begin a nationwide search for a new CEO. That position must be filled by a practicing physician. Dr. Gibb joined Billings Clinic in 2006 as a gynecologic oncologist and was named CEO in July of 2017. Part of a nationwide effort called Stop the Ban, activists on both sides of the abortion issue took to the Yellowstone County Courthouse lawn. They were protesting 7 recent abortion bans on Tuesday afternoon. The most recent and restrictive, Alabama. It criminalizes all abortions in the state unless the pregnancy poses a significant risk to the woman's health. Doctors who perform the procedure can be sentenced up to 99 years in prison. The CEO of Planned Parenthood Montana says it's important to let politicians know this is not what the American people want or stand for.
So I think it's important to know that this is not something that happens just in other states. It's not something that just happens in the South. It's happening across the country, and we need to make sure that we are very loud and proud about our support for women and all people's right to make their reproductive health decisions.
Montana had 3 abortion-based bills passed through the 2019 legislature. Governor Bullock vetoed all 3 earlier this month. Speaking of Governor Bullock, as he hits the presidential campaign trail, a state-funded security detail of Highway Patrol officers is along with him, and taxpayers foot the bill. The governor tells us state law requires this detail, yet that's not entirely accurate. As MTN's Mike Dennison explains, the arrangement is spelled out in writing, along with who pays for it.
Since 2001, an executive protection detail of Highway Patrol officers has been assigned to Montana's governor. The arrangement is defined in a written memorandum between the Highway Patrol and the governor's office, saying that patrol will vigilantly provide for the safety and security of the governor and his or her family. The latest memorandum from 2017 also says the Highway Patrol will pay for the officers' salaries, travel costs, and other operating expenses, unless otherwise negotiated. A former high-ranking patrol officer told MTN News that arrangement was made many years ago to avoid having the protection budget cut for political reasons or because a governor didn't want the protection. The 2 Highway Patrol officers accompanied Governor Bullock last week when he spent several days campaigning for president in Iowa. Other staffers in Iowa with the governor had their expenses paid by the campaign. Governor Bullock wouldn't say Tuesday how much time he plans to spend out of state campaigning for president, but that he's still working as the governor regardless.
Haven't set out, here's exactly how much time I'll be in one place or the other, but no matter where I am, and that's been the case even before this, was regularly and directly connected to the governor's office each and every day.
At the legislature this year, Republican Representative Forrest Mandeville of Columbus sponsored a bill to require any elected official to reimburse the state for costs of any fellow employee with them on a political trip outside the state. In a fiscal note for the bill, the Highway Patrol estimated it had spent about $273,000 protecting the governor on out-of-state political trips in the past year. Mandeville's bill later died in committee, but not before lawmakers voted to amend it to exempt the governor's security detail from the reimbursement requirements. Still, there's nothing in state law to prevent Bullock from reimbursing the state for security costs related to his presidential campaign. We asked his presidential campaign whether he might do that and got no immediate response. His first presidential campaign finance report is due next month. Reporting from Helena, Mike Dennison, MTN News.
Governor Bullock's presidential campaign reported raising $1 million in donations and pledges on his first day as a candidate. State lawmakers are being polled on whether they want to override any of the 8 vetoes by Governor Steve Bullock. If a bill had support from at least 2/3 of the lawmakers and is vetoed after the session adjourns, lawmakers are polled by mail on whether they want to override the veto. Ballots went out this week on 8 bills on subjects ranging from sports betting to prescription drugs to tax credits for certain businesses to campus free speech rules. Governor Bullock vetoed the bills within the past 2 weeks, and lawmakers have until mid-June to submit votes on whether to override the veto and make the bill law. It takes a 2/3 vote by each house to override the veto. Now we go to the Billings Police Evidence Facility to show you just how crowded the space is. A change could be on the way if city leaders can formulate a plan to fund a new facility after already approving a concept. Q2's Andrea Lutz has more.
Packed to the brim.
At some point, I have to grow.
With little space left.
It should be in its own contained area and locked.
Lieutenant Mitch Hart walks us through these constricted and congested aisles filled with evidence.
Our desks are in the evidence facility, which is, by standard, you're not supposed to have that.
On top of that, outside containers.
Larger items.
Used as overflow.
We need a place to hold it.
This is all sealed out.
So Hart presented city councilors with a plan to rebuild a new evidence facility in the same place this one sits. And council even approved it. But what's left unknown, how to pay for it.
I mean, we're general funded. As they say, it's the price of doing business. And you know, unfortunately, business is good now to where we have to grow with the community.
For $3.2 million, Hart says they could grow this 6,000 square feet space up to 15,000 square feet, because often evidence sits here for years.
You know, I have items in here from 1946 on. And you know, some items I can rotate and I can purge, and then there's other items, say homicide type cases, that I have to keep.
And while Hart has a plan to purge evidence often, he says eventually it catches up.
But we deal with it as best we can, and tight quarters, would it be nice to have a little bit more room? Yes, it would, but we're trying to do the best we can with what we have right now.
In Billings, Andrea Lutz, MTN News.
Andrea tells us the council will set their 2020 budget sometime in June, so we'll let you know what happens. Montana Attorney General Tim Fox is on the hunt for a specialist to fill the job of the newly created Missing Indigenous Persons Task Force. He is currently accepting submissions from tribes. This comes after the passing of Hannah's Act earlier this year by the Montana legislature. The Department of Justice hopes to have someone hired by July.
When people are in tune for the need to watch out for a particular vehicle or a particular person, oftentimes the leads that we get from the public result in us recovering someone before something terrible happens.
The Office of Public Instruction is also creating a repository of students accessible by law enforcement to help form a missing child report. In Glacier National Park, a contractor has been chosen to complete the final construction phase for the historic Sperry Chalet. The nearly $5 million contract goes to Dick Anderson Construction out of Great Falls. Construction will start in July and continues through September 30th. It's anticipated the chalet will be ready for overnight stays in 2020.